The assignment.
It's a Monday, so here we are, assignment day once more, where today I'm setting the photography challenge or a way to think about your picture making for the next week. Myself, I haven't done one for a while, and so I thought, well, let's have a go at another one. It's a challenge for everyone, whatever kind of photography interests you, whatever camera you hold, film larger format, DSLR, mirrorless, compact or smartphone, it's all about the picture you see. Though I'm not necessarily, or really at all, sending you out into the elements for this one, which in many parts of the UK, where I live anyway, is quite cold. You might be thanking me for this. There's colder places in the world, I know. So I'm asking you to spend a little time in retrospective thought with your Lightroom catalogues or libraries or however you keep and look after your photographs, whatever folders they sit within. So that's what we're doing this week. We're not out with a camera, we're in with our archives from 2022. As always, there's a show page on the website, photowalk.show, and I'd love you to share the picture or pictures that you send for this challenge, which I can then upload to the show page for this edition. And you can check back, of course, to see pictures from previous this year. And before I share the assignment, my thanks to our wonderful patrons and mpb.com who sponsor this show. The #1 company in the UK, the US and Europe, with bases in Brighton and Brooklyn and Berlin when it comes to buying, selling and trading used camera kit online. A safe place to do business with guarantees upon what you buy. A look ahead to the photo walk this week, and my guest is Alexander Ward, sharing from a photographer's perspective, but equally personal and human experience, the secrets of why people go wild water swimming and sea swimming, braving the cold in whatever season.
You do get a cold shock response, so your body, gives you a little bit of a fight or flight, and gives you some adrenaline, and you kind of adjust to that. And for me, it's a real regrounding and connection to nature. Everything can go quite still and quite quiet, and you can just enjoy those moments.
There is a twist in this, because Alex's project about wild water swimming could have cost him his legs. True. More on Friday. So it's short and sweet this week, my own assignment. Blink and you just may miss. But I'm looking forward to what you may have to share.
The assignment.
I mentioned at the close of the Extra Mile episode for patrons yesterday that this coming weekend, so the next Extra Mile, I'm going to share 3 photographs that have summed up my 2022. We did this as a feature in the Zoom call that we have once a month for patrons, and it was the December Zoom that we had where I asked for this. Now, it's a fairly wide open ask, because at first glance, if you saw a request to share pictures that show what this year has meant to you, you might simply send in a clutch of favourites, but that's not really what I'm looking for. 2022 for many has been a year where borders and boundaries have, for most who listen, relaxed to a stage where you could be forgiven for wondering if we've somehow found a degree of normality again. Or maybe, no, we've found it. I'm talking, of course, about the virus that I feel so squeamish in a Potteresque way to mention. It whose name shall not be mentioned. In the UK 24 months ago, Christmas was essentially cancelled. And last year there were fears that a similar fate, in this country anyway, awaited the party spirit as we wrestled with new, here's another word I just can't bear anymore, variants. So, the Zoom. We shared pictures in that Zoom that fit the remit of what I'm about to mention. And I was so looking forward to sharing my own 3, but we overran, so we ran out of time. And I'm sharing them for the Extra Mile next week. But in the meantime, I thought, wow, why don't we make this the assignment? Study the pictures that you've made this year. Go back and look at them in your libraries and your catalogues and find between 1 and 3, so a single one is enough, that really sums up the year. pictures that aren't necessarily your favourites. In fact, probably aren't, because we're not looking for the picture where you think, wow, I would send this to a photo competition. No, that's not really what this is about. It's a photograph or photographs that tell a story about a feeling stretched across 12 months. I'm going to pick just one picture, and maybe it will surprise you. Maybe. Because it's a plate of cheese. And it's not the best picture of a plate of cheese. But it says to me one word: freedom. Because like a good few who spoke in that Zoom last week, 2022 has been a year where freedom has been measured by the reality of doing stuff and not wondering if that stuff might at any stage just be cancelled. The cheese for me is a plate of food at a very French wedding, because it was a French wedding. It's the crew food. We shared it as a starter on a reasonably balmy night in September. Nobody dipped their bread into this melted cheese wondering if their neighbour had that thing that shall not be mentioned. Nobody talked of it. It wasn't even a whisper. We shared stories. We talked about cars. We talked about music. We talked about Bob Dylan, actually, quite a lot. So that cheese says to me, freedom. Because I sat there eating it, listening to other people, sharing conversation and enjoying myself, actually, very much, thinking, wow, we're back. So here's what I'm looking for as the 2022 assignments come to a close for this year, with one more remaining before it changes style for 23, which is a slight clue and a nod to the poll that you've been taking part on the website. I'd like you to send me 1 to 3 maximum pictures that say or speak of 2022. Now, it doesn't have to be the story I have, of course. I'm not expecting lots and lots of stories about freedom. It may be something personal that's happened in your family, workplace, a place that you've visited which has changed the way that you've thought. I don't know, it could be so many things. A short paragraph or sentence, please, on each of the pictures, and I will share them on the show page for today. So, yes, that's the challenge for this week. I'll be delighted to see what you produce and would love to show them on today's corresponding show page on the website photowalk.show. And I think, I almost know that some of the stories, I do know that some of the stories I would like to share on the Photo Walk show as well, because there'll be relevance as we come to the close of another year. Music on the show today from Artlist.io, Neale Ford, Emily Renier and Andrea Gilpin. Thank you for your support work behind the scenes. And I look forward to photographing with you, hearing from you and talking with you on the Photo Walk.
The assignment is a Loading Zone production.